Have you ever wondered what would happen if dogs could talk?
Yeah, I'm sure they'd have a lot to say about their owners.
Can you imagine a Chihuahua with a New York accent?
Or a Great Dane with a British accent, saying, "Oh, yes, terribly sorry old chap, but I do believe I've just chewed up your favorite slippers."
What about a poodle with a French accent, saying, "Je suis un chien très sophistique, oui."
And then there's the possibility of a dog being a rapper, with a stage name like Snoop Dogg 2.0.
Or a dog becoming a famous actor, starring in Bart Gump or The Fast and the Furriest.
And don't forget about the potential for a dog to be a lawyer. "Your Honor, my client is innocent because he couldn't have possibly dug up the flower bed without opposable thumbs."
Well, if dogs did talk, I bet they'd have a lot to say about how weird humans are.
Yeah, they'd probably be like, "You guys eat food that's not even bacon flavored. What's up with that?"
And they'd definitely have something to say about how we pick up their poop.
"Excuse me, human, but why are you carrying my waste around in a little plastic bag? That's just bizarre."
Maybe we should start a petition to make dogs talk.
Or maybe we should just stick to imagining the possibilities and let our furry friends continue to communicate with us through tail wags and barks.
Have you ever wondered what it would be like to have a pet unicorn?
Sure, because nothing screams practicality like owning a mythical creature that poops rainbows.
But just imagine the possibilities. You could ride it to work and be the envy of all your coworkers.
Or you could try to feed it and accidentally give it a sugar cube laced with LSD, and end up tripping with your unicorn in the middle of rush hour traffic.
Okay, maybe that's a bit far-fetched. But think of all the amazing puns you could make with a unicorn. "I'm having a unicorny day," or a "let's go grab a unicorn frappuccino."
Ah yes, because what everyone needs is more coffee drinks that look like they were invented by a unicorn vomiting rainbows.
But imagine the Instagram likes.
Yes, because as we all know, the true measure of a person's worth is how many likes their unicorn frappuccino gets.
Okay, I get it. Maybe owning a unicorn isn't the most practical thing. But it sure would be magical.
Yes, until you realize that unicorns shed glitter everywhere and you're vacuuming it out of your couch cushions for the next 10 years.
Okay, you make a good point. Maybe I'll stick to a regular pet.
That's probably for the best. Besides, who needs a unicorn when you can have a pet rock?
A pet rock? Really?
Sure, think of all the money you'll save on food and veterinary bills.
I don't think rocks need veterinary care.
Exactly. It's the perfect pet for the lazy and financially challenged. Plus, you can paint a smiley face on it and call it your best friend.
I don't know if I'm sold on the idea of a pet rock.
Oh come on, everyone needs a little companionship. And with a pet rock, you'll never have to worry about it running away or tearing up your furniture.
I guess that's true. But what do I do with it?
Well, you could always use it as a doorstop. Or a paperweight. The possibilities are endless.
You know what, I think I'll pass on the pet rock. But thanks for the suggestion.
Anytime. And hey, if you ever change your mind, I know a guy who's got a whole litter of pet rocks for sale.
Have you ever wondered what it would be like to be a walking, talking balloon?
No. Can't say that I have.
Well, imagine floating through the air, bouncing off of buildings, and getting stuck in trees.
That sounds like a nightmare.
But think of the advantages. You'd be the life of the party, everyone would want to talk to you, and you'd always be light on your feet.
Or rather, light on your string.
Exactly. And don't even get me started on how much money we could make at the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade.
Yeah, until someone pops us with a needle.
Oh, come on. You're such a buzzkill. I'm sure we could find a way to avoid that.
Fine, but if we do this, I'm wearing a sign that says, "Don't pop me, bro."
And I'll wear a sign that says, "I'm not fat, I'm just full of hot air."
You know, this conversation reminds me of that episode of The Simpsons where Bart accidentally flies away with a bunch of helium balloons.
Oh, yeah. And then they had to rescue him before he floated away to the moon.
Exactly. But at least Bart had a reason for floating away. He was trying to impress his friends. What would be our excuse for being giant balloons?
Maybe we could say we're trying to promote our new balloon animal business?
That's actually not a bad idea. I can see it now. Get your balloon animals from the walking, talking balloons themselves.
And if anyone asks, we'll just tell them we're balloonpreneurs.
I think we're onto something here. But before we get too excited, let's remember that being a giant balloon comes with its own set of challenges. Like what happens when it rains?
Easy. We just wear raincoats.
Alright, I think we've taken this absurd idea as far as we can. But hey, at least we can say we've thought outside the box. Or should I say, outside the balloon?
Have you ever wondered what would happen if cats could talk?
Oh, yeah. I can just picture it now. My cat telling me how much she hates my taste in music.
Imagine a cat asking for a raise in her allowance. I need more catnip money, human.
Or a cat giving a motivational speech. You can do it, just like I can catch that red dot.
And how about a cat hosting her own cooking show? Today, we'll be making tuna surprise. And by surprise, I mean it's just tuna.
Or a cat as a weather forecaster. It's going to rain today, so I'll be sleeping all day. Me outside chance of me waking up.
Speaking of talking animals, did you hear about that new movie with the singing dogs?
Oh yeah, I heard it's a real hauler. But I prefer the classics like Paws, and Claws, and Forever Young.
Those are possum.
You know what's not possum? The fact that we're still talking about imaginary talking animals. I think it's time to get back to reality.
Agreed. Let's stick to real-life topics, like how we're going to survive Monday morning without coffee.
Now that's a topic I can sink my teeth into. Let's get our caffeine fix and conquer the day.
Do you ever think about how weird it would be if we could communicate with plants?
Oh yeah, I can just imagine it now. Hey Mr. Oak Tree, how's life treating you today?
And then the tree would respond, oh, you know, just photosynthesizing and hanging out with my root buddies.
Or imagine trying to have a conversation with a cactus. So, what do you do for fun? Oh, just sit here and prick people.
But what about plants that eat insects? Would they just be constantly complaining about their diet?
And don't even get me started on Venus flytraps. Oh, just chilling in my swamp, digesting some flies.
It would definitely make gardening a lot more interesting. We could have whole conversations with our houseplants.
Yeah, and they could give us advice too. Hey, Fern, do you think I should wear my lucky socks to the job interview? Absolutely not, those socks are hideous.
I can't believe we just spent 5 minutes talking about this. We really need to get out more.
Speak for yourself, I'm perfectly content talking to my succulents all day.
Well, I hope they don't start talking back to you. That would be a little too much to handle.
Hey, you never know. With all the crazy stuff happening these days, talking plants might be the new normal.
Yeah, along with flying cars and time machines. Have you seen the latest sci-fi movie about that?
Oh yeah, I watched it last night. It was out of this world.
Ha! Good one. You always have a pun up your sleeve.
Hey, it's a gift. Just like being able to talk to plants.
Right, because that's totally a gift. You know what? I think I'll stick to talking to humans for now.
Suit yourself. But just remember, if you ever need some plant-based advice, I'm your guy.
Have you ever thought about what it would be like if we were all born with tails?
Oh yeah, because having to buy pants that fit over my butt isn't enough, let's add a tail to the mix.
Imagine trying to sit in a chair, you'd have to balance on your tail.
And what if we had to have tail grooming appointments? I can barely handle a haircut every 6 months.
But think about the fashion possibilities, we could have tail accessories.
Oh great, now I can spend even more money on pointless accessories.
But what about tail envy? People comparing tail lengths like it's some sort of status symbol.
I can see it now, the rich and famous showing off their designer tails on the red carpet.
And don't forget about the tail-related puns, we'd have a whole new level of dad jokes.
Ugh, I can already hear my dad saying, "I'm gonna tail you something," with a smug look on his face.
Tail me about it.
Okay, I have to admit, that was a good one.
Thanks, I'm pretty proud of that tail pun.
Well, as ridiculous as it sounds, it's always fun to imagine these absurd scenarios.
Definitely, it's a great way to escape reality for a bit.
Speaking of escaping reality, have you watched the latest episode of that sci-fi show we both like?
Yes, I have. I can't believe they finally revealed the aliens' true form.
I know, right? It was totally unexpected.
And the cliffhanger at the end? I need to know what happens next.
Same here, can't wait for next week's episode.
Hey, have you heard about the new trend of people eating their socks?
Excuse me, what? That's ridiculous. Why would anyone eat their socks?
Apparently, it's a new way to get your daily dose of fiber.
Well, I guess if you're tired of eating your vegetables, you can always try eating your footwear.
And if you get hungry while walking, you can just take a bite out of your shoe.
But what if you accidentally eat a hole in your sock? Will your toes start to poke out like a jack-in-the-box?
Or what if you accidentally swallow a button? Will you start to poop out a whole new outfit?
This is getting out of hand. Next thing you know, people will be eating their hats and scarves for breakfast.
And we'll have to start calling them serial killers.
Ha! You never fail to make me laugh with your puns. But seriously, who comes up with these bizarre trends?
I don't know, but I think we should start a new trend of eating only foods that actually belong in our digestive system.
That's a great idea. Let's stick to the classics like pizza and burgers, and leave the socks and shoes for our feet.
Agreed. Let's leave the fashion trends to the runway and the food trends to the kitchen.
Now, let's go grab some real food before we become the next viral sensation for all the wrong reasons.
Did you hear about the new restaurant that only serves food in the shape of animals?
That's ridiculous.